back to Deshaun Watson.
Am I still weird to think that it's, again, I didn't sit here last night, and, we had our NBC upfronts last night. I didn't, research, let me see other cases that, are even somewhat similar to this and try to look back and when did the NFL eventually talk to these players. To me, again, Mike, I don't remember exactly here, but me, we've been following this a long time. It does seem longer than ever. I don't know, and it just seems like they're dragging their feet longer than ever, and it's not fair to a lot of people, including Deshaun Watson. So I don't. Am I off base with that, or is that just totally out of left field there?
You're right, and the NFL will say that its usual approach in situations like this is to speak to the accused last, after gathering the information from everyone else. I don't necessarily agree with that approach because they have access to the accused as many times as they want. There's no rule that you only get one shot with Deshaun Watson. You can have a preliminary meeting with Deshaun Watson. You can get some information from him. You can go back to some of the alleged victims and you can flesh it out a little bit more.
Right.
You can test their story with some of the information Deshaun Watson's given you. And then based upon those conversations with the alleged victims, you can go back to Deshaun Watson again.
Right.
This idea that you only get one bite at the apple, there's nothing in the personal conduct policy that supports that. But that's been the practice. And so what it implies, and we don't know whether or not they've met with all 22. It's entirely possible they've talked or tried to talk to all 22. It was May of 2021 when Tony Busby, who represents all 22 of the individuals, complained about how they were being treated. They weren't getting the proper respect from the investigators from the league. And I remember thinking, well, that's what happens when people start asking you questions to try to understand the basis of your claims.
Yeah, these are
you may
serious
not like
claims.
the questions because you may be thinking you don't believe me. There's a difference between not believing and trying to find out whether or not the claim is believable.
Right.
We have to ask questions. We have to check boxes. We have to get to the bottom of this. We can't just say, okay, well, fine, we believe everything you say. Deshaun Watson is expelled from the league forever. You have to find out whether or not people are telling the truth. And I remember thinking, if they got a problem with being questioned by the league, just wait until they're under oath somewhere, cross-examined. Just wait. If they don't like the questions they get in a meeting with the NFL, they're going to hate when Deshaun Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, starts going after them aggressively in a deposition.
Right.
Because that's his job. That's how it works. It's an adversarial process. You fight and you fight and you fight, and the idea is that the truth is going to pop out of the fighting of the two sides. So
you think like some of these accusers, they go in thinking it's going to be a little bit more friendly, and they don't realize that the NFL's, like you're saying, still trying to get answers, even though they have no side or no one they're picking here, but they're still going to be a little. I don't know, curt. What is that the phrase to use? Rude?
It's pointed.
Get to
it's
the
not
pointed.
rude.
That's right. Pointed.
And you know what? It's
just
Busby's
a business
fault
approach.
It's Busby's fault for not preparing them.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that in May of 2021. It just occurred to me now. Busby needs to sit down with these folks and say, here's how this is going to go, because he can't be naive enough to think that the NFL is just going to say, come on in, and we're going to believe everything you tell us, no matter what business problems it may create for us, no matter what kind of position it puts us in as it relates to the rights of Deshaun Watson. We're going to throw the book at him, sight unseen, based upon what you tell us. It's going to be a very straightforward, cue the piano music, the Dragnet show, Just the Facts, ma'am, Joe Friday, very flat, very straightforward, very even-handed and objective. That's what the NFL needs to do, and the NFL's not dumb enough to start grilling these people to the point where it turns them all off and they start having quotes from their lawyer to reporters about how mean they are. They don't want that either. They're not dumb.
Right.
So I think what happened was Tony Busby, frankly, in my opinion, failed to prepare his clients for what they ultimately experienced. Now, did all 22 of them talk? I don't know. But they're at the point now where they're ready to talk to Deshaun Watson. And look, Chris, if they're going to do anything before 2022, the clock is ticking loudly. It's ticking loudly because there's a new procedure now. The league basically indicts a player now, and then there's a separate person, a disciplinary officer, hired and paid by the league and the union, who takes it from there and pushes it through to a hearing. And then after a decision is made on discipline, the commissioner has appeal jurisdiction and final say. And at the end of the day, it's still up to whatever the commissioner wants. As long as the disciplinary officer administers any amount of discipline, the commissioner can take it and expand it into whatever he wants. So, for example, the league could say we want him to be suspended for the full year. The disciplinary officer could say, okay, my final ruling is 1 game. And the commissioner on appeal can say, nah, it's a year.
Yeah, right.
That's how meaningless this external process is. Unless the disciplinary officer says no discipline at all, the commissioner can take whatever is implemented and make it whatever the commissioner wants with no further appeal rights. But to get there, it's not just something you flip a switch with. It takes time.
Yeah.
The training camps are 2 months away. It takes time. The season is going to be here before you know it. It's 17 weeks away. So the NFL likes to wait and wait and wait and wait and not make any decisions on these matters until it has to. Well, guess what, Roger? You kind of have to. We're kind of there.
Yeah.
We're kind of there. You want people in Cleveland to get behind this team, and I still feel bad for Browns fans. They didn't sign on for this distraction, or 22 of them. So let's go. Let's figure this out. What more do you need? What more do you need? Well, you got to sit down and talk to Deshaun. Do it and make a decision. Come on. Yeah. Let's go. What else are you doing in May? What else are you doing? Let's get this done.
I'm shocked, too, that we're here at this point, this close to the finish line, and that some of this hasn't been resolved to a degree, Mike. And I think the other thing that I'm truly interested in this one just because, of course, it's Deshaun Watson. And then, of course, a troubling few years, whether it's true or not. There's definitely some shadiness, some why are you talking to so many masseuses anyways? There's some of that there, even if not guilty. And then, of course, the huge contract that we've discussed. I mean, it's just weird. It looks weird, the optics, as we discussed when he first signed with the Cleveland Browns. Hey, you're the biggest issue in the league right now, basically. He really is. He's the biggest issue in the league. Hey, here's the greatest contract in the history of the NFL. And because of that and how the Trevor Bauer with baseball, I just wonder, Mike, with this one, do you think the other owners are going to get involved with this and get in Roger Goodell's ear a little bit? Like, this one's a little bit bigger than maybe the commissioner. This is the whole league. The league is going to be viewed how they handle this by a lot of people, and it's going to be scrutinized. And I do wonder about that aspect too. We know owners are pissed off anyways about the contract and all that crap too. So this might be another way to, kind of like, well, what the hell are you doing? And I don't know. I just feel like they might talk to Roger in this one a little bit more than normal.
Without getting into any of the facts or allegations of Deflategate, the reality is, because we don't have time to go off the rails again, the reality is there's a strong belief, and it's been reported, the Deflategate thing was rooted in part by a lingering concern by owners who are power brokers that the Patriots didn't get what they deserved with the original Spygate 7 years earlier.
Yeah.
So these other motivations can come into play here. And when you're the commissioner and when you are herding cats, which is what you do, when you are commissioner of the entire sport, all constituencies, bull crap. Your constituencies are the 32 owners, the people who pick you, who pay you, who decide whether to keep you. You have to keep them happy. They all are strong-willed. They all are successful. They all are rich. They all are powerful. And they're calling you up all the time, complaining about all sorts of things. So, if you have been worn out for the past 3 months by the decision of Jimmy Haslam to give $230 million fully guaranteed on a 5-year deal to Deshaun Watson, and they're pissed off because now we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to pay our quarterbacks 46, 48, 50, 55, 60 million fully guaranteed for 5 years. I'm going to have to put this money in escrow. I don't want to do that. And now I got to do it because Jimmy Haslam did it. I'm not happy, Roger. Hey, Roger, you there? Hey, Roger, I'm not happy about this. We are humans. Our decisions that we make every day are driven by a complex stew of factors. And if you're Roger Goodell and you know you got a certain number of your owners who are pissed off about that contract, you're that's going to seep into your brain when it's time to decide what to do to Deshaun Watson. So, and also, Chris, let's not forget, 99% of the employers in this country, and this is not, I'm not saying this is how the NFL should be. I'm just trying to make sure people understand how the world works. 99% of the employers in this country, if you get in trouble away from work, their attitude is, as long as you can show up for work, you have a job.
Exactly.
It's not my business if you got sued. It's not my business if you are investigated. It's not my business if you're prosecuted. It's my business if you can't show up to work at my business. If you can work, fine. Now, look, in some situations, what happens is it makes a local, it's a big deal and it's scandalous and we got to get rid of this person. And that's when their rights may be violated, frankly. In the NFL, they have embraced the idea that what somebody does away from work is relevant to the NFL because it hurts the NFL. It hurts the shield. How can you let this person play football? So it's all driven by PR. So these questions you're raising are very relevant. What is the NFL's expected reaction if they don't suspend Deshaun Watson? What do they expect? What's the focus group say? Right? What if we don't? What if we don't? What if we suspend him for a full year? Then what? Then we're going to have the blowback from the people say, how dare you suspend a man for a year when he hasn't been prosecuted?
Right.
And these lawsuits aren't even finished yet. How can you suspend him when these lawsuits aren't even finished? He could win all 22 of them. See, that's why they haven't done anything.
Yeah, right.
That's what do you do here? What do you got to make a decision at some point. And whatever you decide is going to be subject to intense scrutiny. So they're going to try to find a sweet spot. Is there one? I don't know. And then you got the Trevor Bauer 2-year suspension.
Yeah, right.
Which stretches the rubber band as to how far you potentially go. Hey, Chris, when that Trevor Bauer thing first hit, my first thought, and I'll be candid because I'm about football all the time, who is Trevor Bauer?
Yeah, gotcha.
That was my first thought.
Right.
Once I figured it out and learned about the case,
gotcha.
And I saw baseball doing 2 years with Trevor Bauer, man, all of a sudden I started thinking, I know there are people in the league office who believe he should not play at all until these cases are resolved.
Yeah, I know.
Those voices are not silent.
Right.
And the commissioner's already taken paid leave off the table as a practical matter. I won't be surprised if there are people pushing very, very hard for Deshaun Watson to be suspended for all of 2022.
I agree.
All
hear
of
you.
it. Every week. And you know what? Peter King and I said on Friday, there are no real breadcrumbs in the Browns' schedule that lead to what may happen. And Mike North, one of the executives, said we didn't factor Deshaun Watson's availability into it. Well, it's kind of factored in because if you knew they were going to have him, they'd be in more primetime games. They'd be in more standalone games.
Right.
So you did factor it in.
Yes.
And I look at it and I say, the way that schedule is constructed, it's consistent with him not playing at all this year. It's consistent. I'm not saying they know.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be surprised if he gets suspended for the whole year. Not at all.
I don't think I am either. I don't think with the times we're in right now, the way it looks, the protecting the shield, the Trevor Bauer, as you talked about. I do think the contract and what the Browns did to him works against him. I do. I think it works against him as far as within the bylaws of the NFL, the owners, as you discussed, all of that. And yes, obviously from that schedule, the Browns, the Browns are one of the, we've talked about it 100 million times last year. It's one of the more talented teams in football. They were, a 1 yard on the 1 yard line, fumble away from beating the Chiefs and going to the AFC Championship game 2 years ago. And so they obviously were aware of the Deshaun Watson thing, and played it safe there, which I don't blame them for. But man, I don't know. It's one that I think just with the whole thing and knowing people in the league and hearing people talk about this at times, it just feels like a lot of people in the league are still disappointed about the Browns' approach to signing him and how all that went down. And then, of course, the way it looks publicity-wise, man, it's not a good look. I'm with you, Mike. The more I go here, I think the more harsh the penalty's going to go for Deshaun Watson when all's said and done.
And what happened was those 9 criminal complaints resulted in 0 indictments on a Friday, and the land rush began. His camp did a great job of manipulating members of the media to try to whitewash all of it, make it look like everything's fine. Everything's fine. Remember the tweet from a certain insider who has 9.5 million followers that, the truth came out. Well, no, it didn't. But you know what? It created the mood. It set the right atmosphere for teams to begin the chase. And it became a competition. Who's going to get him? Let's go get him. Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Browns. We got to get him. Browns get thrown off. Oh, then the Browns say,
our other quarterback's mad. We don't have a quarterback.
Now we've pissed off Baker Mayfield. What are we going to do? Let's offer Deshaun Watson a $230 million fully guaranteed contract. And then the dust started settling, and the dust got kicked up again. There was a delayed reaction. People were like, what the hell were the Browns doing? And that's where we are.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.